right, welcome back to Ben's then, everybody. Guess what? Division round complete. So we start here. This will be the first of three. I'm going to do Division Two tonight. It's the smallest one, but there's some good stuff in there. So I figured I'd get that done. It's late Monday night. I got D1, D2, D3 wrap ups to do. And boy, oh boy, am I excited for the Meet of Champions previews. Brackets listed today. If you haven't seen them, check them out on Flow Arena. You'll see all the madness that's about to happen this upcoming weekend. But in order to get to this weekend, we had to have this past weekend. And in Division Two, it was a heck of a time. I was there as an official, as was my dear friend, Mr. Rick Ross. He found a dog sitter for his beloved Peanut. So he joined me for the day, and we had a great day. The NHWA, they debuted second officials at a postseason tournament, and it went swimmingly. And so the same will be happening this weekend at the Meet of Champions. You know, constantly trying to make some improvements, and I think that's a big step in the right direction. So off we go to the Division Two state tournament, and we're going to start at 106 pounds, one of your smaller brackets. There are 5 wrestlers here, 106 pounds. Kyler Cox, Alvin, was your 1 seed. It was a light day, but he did what he was supposed to do. He tech-falled Wesley Steinrich out of Bishop Girton in the semifinals, 18-3, and then got a forfeit in the finals to pick up the D2 state championship. Don't worry, Kyler, if you're feeling like you didn't get a lot of action, because I'll tell you what, Meet of Champions, you got your work cut out for you. But congratulations. It's a great win. You wrestled the kids that are put in front of you. Job well done. Willem Pierce, as I mentioned, your runner-up. I want to say it was probably preventative. I think I saw Willem in the MOC brackets, so we'll see him over there. Angel Diaz, who lost to Willem in the semifinals, he was your 3 seed. He finishes in 3rd place as he took on Wesley Steinrich down there in the 3rd place bout. 16-0 tech fall there for Diaz. So Manchester West on the board at the Meet of Champions. Good to see that. 113 pounds, moving along. This is a good one, right? The freshman, Vic Loam, was your number 1 seed. He is out of Hollis Brookline. Down on the bottom, you had stud Timmy Malley from Alvern. He's been making some noise all year long. So, you know, hoping they train together. They're friends. So I'm sure they were, you know, nervously looking excited to facing each other in the finals. Well, Vic Loam, he did his job. He had a pin, and very quick, 23 seconds and 18 seconds to reach the finals. Malley, not so lucky. He had an opening round pin, 23 seconds. And then in the semifinals, he ran into Harold Hieronymus out of Goffstown. And Hieronymus, he took it to Malley, beat him 7-3, or he was beating him 7-3 before getting a pin in the second period. I believe it was a far side cradle, if I remember correctly, as I think I was on the mat for that one. And, you know, tough loss for Malley, big win for Hieronymus. He goes into the finals against, you know, again, very tough Vic Loam, freshman this year out of Hollis Brookline, and he puts it on Hieronymus. 13-0 prior to a fall in the second period at the 3:28 mark. So congratulations, Vic Loam. That is the first of what I believe you want to be 4 D2 state championships. It's a great way to start off the campaign. Again, Timmy Malley, you got 2 choices. You know, if you're the 1 or 2 seed and you're losing that opening round, you got to go underneath and you got to get to work. That's exactly what Malley did. He went underneath and he pinned Enright out of Milford in 40 seconds. And in the Concy finals bout, he took on Ethan Gam out of Winnicott and puts it on them with a quick first period pin. So, you know, again, doesn't always, that's why we wrestle it, right? I was pretty confident we were going to see a Loam Malley finals when I did the pre-show. And here we go. Hieronymus proves me wrong and gets it done, getting to the finals, and is a runner-up. Ethan Gam, like I said, Winnicott, 4th, 5th place, right? D2, if you're not aware, top 5 from each bracket, they made it to the Meet of Champions. So Joshua Enright of Milford was your 5th place finisher over Royce Morin of Kingswood, whose season is unfortunately over. So again, congratulations to Loam, Hieronymus, Malley, Gam, and Enright. They're all heading to the big dance on Saturday. We jump to 120 pounds. Secret Squirrel, it was your 1 seed. Carter Kuhn. On the bottom, you had Gabe Osborne. He was your 2 seed. And so, again, a weird bracket as it played out. So, Kuhn, he does what he's been doing, right? He went to the semifinals. And actually, if you look at the results here, he got a pin. He's been tech falling kids all year long, but he didn't want to waste any time. He had a 27-second pin in the semifinals over K Knight of Winnicott. That puts him in the finals, and he had Gabe Osborne on the bottom. Probably thought, that's the guy. Well, not so much. Gabe Osborne, he had a 17-1 tech fall in the quarterfinals. And then in the semifinals, he had a medical forfeit against Scout Cree, Hollis Brookline. Cree receiving the medical forfeit as Gabe Osborne stepped out of the tournament. And so Cree in the semifinals, he goes to Secret Squirrel in the finals. And Secret Squirrel, he does what he does. Carter Kuhn, 16-7 before the pinfall in the third period to become your 120-pound D2 state championship. Congratulations, sir. Excellent job. Scout Cree, hey, great job, man. You wrestle who they put in front of you, right? And so you make your way in and you put up a good battle. I dig that. Kane Wright out of Winnicott, he's your third place finisher. He beats Kane Davis out of Milford. And then Owen Kostecki busts the bubble in the blood round from Sauhegan. He punches his ticket to the Meet of Champions on Saturday. So again, small bracket here at 120, but people getting some things going and good stuff. 126. Frosty Jack Kaler, Sauhegan. Again, he returns home this year. He was at BG last year. He's your 1 seed in the 126-pound weight class at D2. Owen Sabal out of Merrimack. He's your 2 seed down there on the bottom. And, there's a reason why we wrestle here, right? Kaler had a heck of a way to the finals. Bide in the first round, got a pin in the quarters, got a pin in the semis to put himself in the finals. Sabal, bye in the first round, goes into the quarters. Unfortunately, he runs into Hunter Sheldon. And Hunter Sheldon out of Goffstown, he did some damage on Sabal. Sheldon was the 7th seed, Sabal was the 2 seed. Well, Sheldon of Goffstown, 11-1 before he secures the fall in the second period at the 3:30 mark to move himself to the semifinals. Feeling pretty good about himself, Sheldon runs into the other Steinrich, Austin Steinrich from Bishop Curtin, your 3 seed. Well, Steinrich puts it on to Sheldon with a 15-0 tech fall, 28 seconds into the second period. So Steinrich's really putting the pace on Sheldon in the semifinals. Feeling pretty good about things heading into the championship. Frosty Jack says, no, thank you. I'll have none of that. Ices him 5-0 in the first period before picking up the pinfall at 1:50. Frosty Jack is your Division II 126-pound state championship. Welcome home, Jack. Steinrich, Bishop Gurdon, great kid. He's your runner-up. Hunter Knight, Hollis Brookline, again, another one who transferred from another school, just, moved residences and has to fit in another program and find his way. Well, he found his way into third place with a win over Hunter Sheldon of Goffstown, who's your 4th place at 126 pounds. And on the bubble, it was Luke Andruskevich against Owen Sabal of Merrimack. And remember, Sabal was your 2 seed. Unfortunately, he gets pinned in the first period. Send Andruskevich to the Meet of Champion, and that ends Sabal's season. So, unfortunate for Sabal. And listen, it's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat when we're talking about competition. So, that's why the sport builds amazing character. So just remember that if you're on the other side of the agony of defeat. Hold. You can't tell. Voice is struggling a little bit today. Long weekend, ref Saturday and Sunday, and I'm a little bit under the weather. So bear with. Excuse me. All right, 132 pounds, Division II championships. What do we got? James Aljo, Bishop Gurdon. He is your 1 seed at the top of the bracket. 2 seed, Ben Walton, Goffstown, ready to the charge to the finals for what would be a great match against Aljo. Both those young men have been putting in the work in the off season, and if you've been keeping up with the episodes, I can't say enough good things about them. They're putting the work in, and the results are showing. 1 and 2 seed, so off we go. Aljo busts out, quarterfinals, picks up a 15-0 tech fall over Nunez from Manchester West. That is Kendrick Nunez. He goes on to the semifinals, takes on a very tough Milford Max Hammerstrom. Hammerstrom puts up a tough fight in the second period. It's 7-5 Aljo, gives up the fall. So your one seed, James Aljo, he makes his way into the finals. Walton, he opens the competition with a 17-1 tech fall over, I want to say, Nahili. Is that right? I think it's Nahili out of Alvern. Let me see that one more time. Went down too quick. Yeah, Nahili. Okay, let me look real quick because I didn't get the first name. Bear with. Notes are sparse at times. Aiden Nahili, Alvern. Sorry about that, sir. Well, he got tech faulted in the opening round, so tough opening. Walton, very tough kid. He moves into the quarterfinals. He takes on what do we got here? Will Crawford out of Hollis Brookline. Crawford comes in, gives up 7 points against Walton in the first period before being pinned. Walton moves on to the semifinals where he finds a very tough AJ Craig of Portsmouth. Great match there. Walton comes out 12-5 on top. So it sets up a 1 and 2 in the finals. Aljo versus Walton, as it has been in the previous 2 times they met. It's a very tight match. Walton gets the edge 3-2. Becomes your 132-pound Division II state championship. Aljo was crushed, and he should be. Puts in a lot of work. He misses his goal, but here's what I know about him. I know he's already back in the room, getting ready for the Meet of Champions. He'd welcome a rematch with Walton, but he'll take any path he can to reach what he wants at the Meet of Champions. So, James, keep your head up. Ben Walton, great job, man. I know it's been a tough season. Hitting some of the marks during the year, but listen, closed it out nicely. Great team points right there. You know, going all the way and taking it. Goffstown gets their champion at 132 pounds. Third place, that very tough AJ Craig out of Portsmouth. He bounces back after his loss in the semifinals and takes out Landon Carson of Souhegan. Carson, he loses 6-1 here. It's a decision. He goes the whole way. So 3 seed AJ Craig comes in third place. Carson was a 6 seed, so he improves 2 to take out fourth. And then again, Max Hammerstrom, another tough kid. We mentioned Milford. Very tough program. He gets a tech fall in the 5th place match over Kendrick Nunez to seal the deal and ensure his season goes on 1 more week. So great job there, Mr. Hammerstrom. Moving to 138 pounds. I think this guy has the most pins at Hollis Brookline. His name is Caden Brusso, and he's your 1 seed from Hollis Brookline. He did what he's supposed to do, right? He just cruised his way right to the finals. The 2 seed, Ben Smiley out of Souhegan. He didn't cruise, I wouldn't say. He had a nice quarterfinals win over Campbell out of Winnacunnet. Reed Campbell, to be clear. Got a quick takedown, quick first period pin there. And then ran into 3 seed Ian Campbell out of Goffstown. And what a tight match. 6-5, Smiley comes out on top. And Campbell made it very interesting at the end. He got 4 points in the third period to bring it within, to take the lead 5-4. And then Smiley gets a reversal with 52 seconds left, gets the 6-5 win over Campbell out of Goffstown, and brings himself into the finals against a very, very tough Caden Brusso. And Brusso puts it on Smiley, as I would have expected. And again, Smiley, tough, strong kid, nothing but good things to say. But there's levels to the game here. And Caden Brusso, he's just on another level this year. Gets a takedown, gets a fall in 1:17. I believe that is 4 D2 state championships for one Caden Brusso. Still trying to wash that out of my system. And I know he's looking to head to the big dance, which is the Meet of Champions next week, and pick up his 3rd championship there. So congratulations, Caden. Ben Smiley, great job. No shame in losing to a kid like Caden. Campbell bounces back, meets his seed. He's your 3rd place winner. He took on Cam Stickney out of Alvern in the consolation, not out of Alvern, out of Milford. Campbell puts it on him, scores 8, and then ends up with a pinfall in the 3rd period to secure 3rd place there. So that's your top 4. And then again on the bubble, Dominic Stamp from Bishop Girton takes on Reed Campbell out of Winnicott. Stamp with the 12-1 lead before securing the fall. 3 seconds left in the first period. So that's some pretty good points in just under 2 minutes before getting that pin. Congratulations, Dominic Stamp from Bishop Girton. You're heading to the big dance. All right, we're at the halfway mark here, the 144-pound division. Saw freshman Stephen Whistler up on the top of the bracket with the 1 seed. And then on the bottom, we had Colin Taylor of Manchester West. He's a 2 seed. And so off they went. Whistler comes out storming. He gets a 13-0 lead, gets a pin over Cale McClune. And then he moves to the quarterfinals, takes on Man from Hollis Brookline. That is one Jaeger. It's not, it's Jaeger, if I heard him correctly. Jaeger Man from Hollis Brookline puts up 7 points there. First period pin. Moves into the semifinals, does Whistler. Now, here's where things go awry. So, you had Colton Stevens out of Winnicott, both from the Seacoast. Stevens wasn't having it. The 4 seed upsets the freshman and 1 seed, 9-6 decision in the semifinals to move on to the finals. Great job there by Mr. Stevens in securing a big win over the 1 seed and getting it done over a tough kid. Now, Taylor, Colin Taylor on the other side of the bracket, your 2 seed, gets a bye the first round. Takes on Finn Murphy, puts it on him, 12-2 before a pin in the second period. Taylor moves on to take on Cole Brandt, another tough kid out of Souhegan. Taylor's not worried about it. Puts 6 on the board, pins in the third. Now you got Colin Taylor, Manchester West, and then Colton Stevens out of Winnicott. Those are your finalists at 144 pounds. And they said, let's make a show of it. And they put up a total of 27 points between the two of them. It's Colin Taylor, Manchester West, coming out on top, 17-10. Manchester West Blue Knights, your first champion on the day, 144 pounds, D2 state championship goes to Colin Taylor. It's a beautiful thing. Coach Avery's been doing some good things. Good win by Taylor. Stevens winning kind of, hey, listen, these are the breaks. Oh, excuse me, Taylor. He put it on. Stevens from Winnicott. Had a great day, right? It just fell short in the back end, last bout. And so them's is the breaks. Whistler, who also had to experience them's is the breaks after losing in the semifinals, he drops down underneath like a real champion and gets to work. He takes on one Sawyer Nault out of Goffstown, puts it on him, 12-1 major decision in the Concy semis, goes into the Concy finals. Again, Cole Brandt, tough kid out of Souhegan, the 3 seed. So you got your 1 and 3 seed battling out in the Concy finals. And it's Whistler coming on top because there's really no battle. Cole Brandt, medical forfeit out. Whistler takes third place. Cole Brandt's already into the 4 finish place and will head to the big dance on Saturday. And then Tanner Herbert, Milford, takes out Sawyer Nault of Goffstown to ensure one more week of the season. So congratulations to all at 144 pounds, including the champion, Colin Taylor out of Manchester West. Should be a barn burner at the MOC. All right, 150 pounds. What do we got here? We got Dominic Young is your 1 seed, and Danny Friccione is your Hollis Brookline 2 seed. So how did they do? Well, Young, bye in the round of 16, gets into the quarters, takes on Michael Shorthill, Portsmouth. Pin, first period, gets it done. The 1 seed versus the 8 seed, moves on to the semifinals, does Mr. Young. Young takes on Chase Baby Knuckles, and then Knuckles punches him in the face. 10-1 lead before second period pin, sending Young into the concies. Knuckles moves on into the finals and awaits his opponent on the bottom side of the bracket. You saw Friccione, the 2 seed, comes out, gets a first period pin over Sunson out of Manchester West, moves on to the quarterfinals, takes on Gagnon out of Kingswood. And Kingswood, been wrestling really good this year, including Isaac Agnew. However, Frixion wasn't having it. The 2 seed stomps him, 15-0 tech fall, heading into the third period. Brings him into the semifinals, takes on a very tough Jack Foster, your 3 seed from Bishop Curtin. Frixion ends up with a medical forfeit. He goes out with the medical forfeit. Didn't like that. Number 2 seed going out in the semis, hoping it's nothing major. I don't have any information on it. And I'd like to see in that match. It happens during it. Frixion is up 3-0 in the first period, and then Foster gets the medical forfeit. So your 3 seed moves into the finals, faces your 5 seed, Chase Knuckles from Sauhegan, and Jack Foster. Just a tough kid. Comes in and puts it on Baby Knuckles. 15-4 major decision, and he is your 115-pound D2 state champion. And Dominic Young, Winnicott, 1 seed, does what a 1 seed's supposed to do when he leads, loses, heads down underneath and gets the job done. He faces a very rough and tumble Steve Damboyce out of Goffstown. Gets a 12-4 major decision for third place, leaving Damboyce in fourth. Then you have Isaac Gagnon. He was taking on Daniel Frixion, and guess what? Medical forfeit. So Gagnon punches his ticket on the back of a Frixion injury. And again, I hope Frixion's okay. And, Gagnon, you got to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you, whether you earned it or just by sheer luck. So I wish you luck next week at the MOC, and congratulations. All right, moving along. 157, another Hollis Brookline stud. This time as a 1 seed in Jacob Critchfield. And on the bottom side of the bracket, you had Justani Rivera, Manchester West, was your 2 seed. So, Critchfield doing Critchfield-like things, man. Just getting the work done. Heads to the quarters after a bye in the opening round. Has a 17-2 tech fall over Sakura out of Portsmouth. He then moves on to the semifinals where he takes on Jace Wilhelmy of Milford. Again, I can't say it enough. The Milford kids are tough. Don't pay attention to their seeds. Pay attention to what they're going to do on the mat. And Wilhelmy puts a tough match against a really tough Critchfield. Your 1 seed versus your 5 seed. Wilhelmy loses a very respectable 8-5 decision. So Critchfield's got some work to do to get into the finals. Critchfield versus, well, who's on the bottom? Rivera, did he make it? He made it through the corners, right? Manchester West stud takes a 9-3 decision over Alex Sarde, or Sarft, out of Sauhegan. Moves on to the semifinals, faces the number 6 seed out of Goffstown, Sullivan Conley. And Conley puts it on Rivera. 20-5 tech fall in the second period. Sending Justani Rivera underneath. And the finals showed Critchfield and Conley together. All Critchfield. 6-1 lead in the first period before pinning the young Conley. And again, team points. Conley puts them on the board, just reaching the finals for the Grizzlies. And Critchfield is an absolute stud animal senior. It's kind of the way of the world sometimes. And so congratulations to Jacob Critchfield, your 157-pound D2 state champion, and to Sullivan Conley, who is the runner-up, and a very respectable runner-up, I must say. Jace Wilhelmy, your Milford stud, he gets knocked down underneath, and he goes into the Conci semis and takes on Alex Sarf. I'm sorry, homie. Sarfde, S-A-R-F-D-E, Sarde. I'm going to make the F silent. You'll let me know if I'm wrong. Anyway, Alex out of Sauhegan. Yeah, he got smashed up by Wilhelmy. 13-5 major decision. That brings him into the Conci finals against Reese Fisher of Kingswood. And Wilhelmy gets it done with a 3-2 decision, tight match. So your 5 seed finishes in third place. Reese Fisher Kingswood, fourth place. And Alex from Sauhegan punches his ticket with a win over Justani Rivera in your 5th place match. 10-7, unfortunately for Rivera, who is a senior. His season is done. And again, what a great year that young man had. Just really good. It sucks that he's not going to the Meet of Champions. I'm happy for Alex, but when you see a senior who can't punch that ticket, it tugs on my heartstrings a little bit. But based on what I've heard about this young man, He's going to keep that beautiful smile on his face and keep it go and keep getting some great stuff done in life. So good luck to you, Justani. 165 pounds. So, Mr. GQ, Shane Mackey, Alvin Bronco, he's your 1 seed. And then Noah Daly, another stud, 2 seed, looking to go to West Point if possible, out of Souhegan. So, we got the 1 and 2 seeds. How did they do in making their way to the finals? Mackey has a bye in the first round, first period pin all the way. The rest there, one over Dennett out of Portsmouth, got 7-0 lead in the first period pin for Mackey in the quarters. Takes on a very tough Noah Kittredge out of Milford. 37-second pin in the semis over Kittredge. So Mackey sits in the finals and looks to see who he's going to face. So Daly was your 2 seed. He buys in the round of 16, goes into the quarter, takes on a very tough and respectable Perkins out of Manchester West. Ryan Perkins gets the pin in the first period in 56 seconds. Daly moves on, takes on Noah Womack out of Goffstown, your number 3 seed. 13-0 before he pins Womack to head in the finals and take on Mr. GQ. And it's all GQ in the finals. Gets a second period fall after a close first period, 4-3. Mackey has the lead before the pin. Mackey is your 165-pound Division II champion. Noah Daly, Souhegan, second place, runner-up behind Mackey. Marty Burns, he didn't even make it to the semifinals. He lost in the quarterfinals and had to dig real deep, did Burns. And Burns out of Hollis Brookline has the right coach to push him and tell him, hey, underneath, we got to get to work. And so Burns comes down, rattles off 3 in a row, including over Noah Kittredge of Milford with a pin in the third period to secure third place. Kittredge is your 4th place. And Noah Womack, Goffstown, takes out Ryan Perkins for 5th place to keep his season alive one more week with a 5-0 lead before pinning Mr. Perkins in the first period. Whew! So good stuff. So again, Mr. GQ Mackey's the champ. Daly, Burns, Kittredge, and Womack will join him as representatives at the Meet of Champions in your 165-pound division. Un momento, por favor. All righty. 175 pounds. Caleb Forgy, 1 seed. Kingswood. Been talking a lot of good things about this young man. Really like what I've been seeing. Been racking up some good wins along the way. And then on the bottom side of the bracket in the 2 seed was Connor Campbell out of Winnicunnet. And so how did they do on their day? Well, Forgy buyed into the quarterfinals. Gets an 18-0 tech fall over D'Anthony DiGaetano. Try that again. Anthony DiGaetano. Manchester West. Hope I did that okay, Anthony. But Forgy, 1 seed, wasn't to be stopped there in the quarters. Headed to the semis. Took on a very tough Tyler Osorio from Goffstown. Gets a 16-4 major decision. Looking good heading into the finals. Campbell on the bottom side of the bracket also buyed in the round of 16. Then he takes on Carter Anderson out of Merrimack. Has a second period pin over Anderson to reach the semifinals, where he takes on Jacob Velez out of Hollis Brookline. Very similar, 7-0 score before a first period pin over Velez to move on to the finals to take on Caleb Forgy. And then Forgy just a little bit too much in the finals. He is your 175-pound D2 state champion after having a 5-2 decision win over Connor Campbell. The Winnicunnet Campbell just couldn't get it done against Forgy. Again, Campbell came out, got the lead in the second period with an escape, no scoring in the first, takedown in the second, and then a reversal in the third. Those are the 5 points for Forgy. Quick escape in the third for Campbell, but just not enough firepower. So congratulations to Caleb Forgy as the champion from Kingswood. It's good to see a small school like that get a state championship. Connor Campbell, Winnicunnet, again, out from the Seacoast doing some good stuff. Osorio, Velez, and Anderson, they all punched their ticket to the Meet of Champions. It's a good day in the 175-pound division. All right. Excuse me. At 190 pounds, we had another Alvin Bronco, Quentin Tetrall from Malvern. That's your 1 seed. And then Zachary Levy from Winnicott. That was your 2 seed. And if you know anything about those two young men, those are two bulls that are going to lock horns and make some magic happen. And so, could they find their way to the finals? Well, Teshrall, he started in the quarters. He wasn't wasting time. Picks up a third period pin after building a 13-1 lead over Ryan Greenwald of Kingswood. He moves on to the semifinals to take on Daniel Halas from Hollis Brookline. Gets a first period pin with a single takedown. So that places him into the finals, awaiting to see can Lavi make his way there. Lavi starts it off going against LaValle from Portsmouth. Gets a first period pin after building up a 9-2 lead. Lavi moves us to the semifinals, takes on Nate Post out of the Milford Spartan program. Lavi gets it done, 8-2 lead there before a pin in the third period. So you got those two bulls locking horns in the finals in Tetrall Lavi. And it's Lavi coming out on top. He wins 3-0 with a first period takedown with 2 seconds left and no other scoring the rest of the way. A stall warning on both wrestlers, but no points put on the board. What a great finals match. Congratulations to Quentin Tetrall at Avern, 190-pound Division II state championship. Those Broncos on the top end of that bracket, or the weight classes, they've been tough, and Tetrall's been a major part of that. So congratulations, sir. Lavi, same thing, representing Winnicott very well. Really tough kid, good, solid competitor, good sport. Just fell up a little short here, and I'm sure he's looking to the Meet of Champions to exact some revenge there. Post, he's your 3 seed. He went underneath to claim third place. He took on Halas from Hollis Brookline and ends up with a third period pin in what was a tight match, 5-3 at the conclusion of the match before the fall. So Post and Halas will head to the Meet of Champions, as will Ryan Greenwald of Kingswood, who took on Copel out of Goffstown and picks up a first period pin there. So again, some really good talent from D2 heading to the Meet of Champions at 190 pounds. And speaking of tough Alvern Bronco kids, Sean Boudreau, your 1 seed at 215 pounds. Gabe Holt from Souhegan was your 2 seed on the other side of the bracket. This was not a huge bracket, total of 8 wrestlers here. And Boudreau did what he was going to do. 2 first period pins to get to the finals. Same story for Gabe Holt, except Holt had a tech fall. And then when we get into the finals, Boudreau puts it on Holt. He builds up a 7-0 lead and gets a second period pin. And again, no shame here, right? Boudreau is an absolute stud wrestler. And Holt, though a very large young man, he's a baby, man. I think he's just turned 15. He grew so fast. He's just learning how to use that size. He's very fast for a big man. And I have no doubt that when guys like Boudreau and that, they're moving on and he's coming in, he's going to be that next dominant force. But today was Sean Boudreau's day, and he just, no points scored against him to claim the 215-pound Division II state championship. Well earned, well deserved. Congratulations to Gabe. Again, second place runner-up to Sean Boudreau is nothing to sneeze at. Elijah Wales, who lost in the quarterfinals, didn't even get to the semis. He had to jump underneath in the constellations, and he had to put some work in. He had to put in 3 straight, and he did it with 2 falls and a decision over Sam Souther of Winnicott. 5-4 decision in the third place bout, with Wales taking the third place win. So if we look here, Souther got an escape in the second. There's a takedown for Wales also in the second. So we're looking at 3-1 there. Escape for Wales, takedown, and then an escape with 6 seconds left. Wales takes third place on that escape, and that allows him to dance in the MOC on Saturday, as does Souther of Winnicott in fourth place, and Antonio Hebert of Goffstown. He takes fifth place over Jaden Arte of Manchester West. More Goffstown team points as they continue to place on the podium. And in our final weight class at 285 pounds, your one seed, B squared, Bishop Kearns from Bishop Garden. He's up on the top, and your two seed is down on the bottom, and that's Mr. Stephen Lawrence. Reminds me of Cobra Kai, but that's Johnny Lawrence. Stephen Lawrence out of Kingswood. He even got the King Cobra, Cobra Kai. All right, anyway. So Bishop Kearns, one seed. Stephen Lawrence, two seed on the bottom. Guess what? They both made their way to the finals. B squared, he did it with a couple of falls in the first period, one at 21 seconds, one in the minute 18. Lawrence, on the other hand, he also got a couple of pins, one in the first period, one in the second period, and that's how they ended up in the finals. And then Bishop Kearns from Bishop Garden, aka B squared, he puts it on Mr. Stephen Lawrence. No mercy. See the call back. Builds a 5-0 lead until the second period, and then he puts it on in with a quick little pin. Could hear Coach Roulette calling for that classical, and B squared, he hit that classical, and he puts Lawrence's shoulders on the ground, claims his first Division II state championship, I believe, at heavyweight. And that young man is impressive. I'm excited to see what he can do at the Meet of Champions, and he's young. He's still got a lot of room for improvement. So if you're in the heavyweight division and you're going to be around for a little while, you better be sure you got your radar locked on Mr. Kearns. So again, congratulations to B squared and Stephen Lawrence in the finals. You had Chris Finnegan, Goffstown. He lost to B squared in the semis. He had to jump underneath. And in the Conci semis, he took out Burke of Hollis Brookline, 5-0 decision, and then takes on Brandon Lehman out of Milford and ends it with a first period pin to claim third place. Does Finnegan begin again? Brandon Lehman takes fourth place. Philip Burke, Hollis Brookline, claims fifth place again to keep the season alive for one more week. Mike Sherburne out of Portsmouth didn't have that luck. He's heading home. It's all done. And so those are your 14 state champions for Division II. And now we move to the team championship. And so D2 state championships were hosted in Goffstown. And I must say, they did an amazing job of hosting the tournament. It was very well run. They utilized both gyms so that the two mats in the main gym, you had all the wrestling space you needed. You weren't going to be handcuffed by any out of bounds because of another mat or other action. Smart move. Separate gym. Worked out beautiful when they shut that down. Everybody came. Very well run tournament. And they had a single mat final under the light. Good job. They've been doing it. They get it. They understand it's a big deal. And I don't know if they had the foresight or not, but they had four finalists, one less than the leader, Sauhegan, who had five finalists. And so, well-run tournament. And when it comes to the team part of it, it shows Goffstown, they host a great tournament. They run well together. It's a good unit. And that translates on the wrestling mat too. And so Goffstown is your two-time Division II state championship with 196.5 points. They had one champion in Ben Walton. They had three runner-ups. They had three thirds. They had two fourths. They had two fifths, three sixths. So 4, 7, 10, 11 wrestlers heading to the big dance on Saturday and a second Division II championship in a row. Amazing job by those coaches. It's the tip of the iceberg. You don't see all the hard work that they've put in specifically over the last, I'll call it four years. And they've really turned that Goffstown program into a powerhouse. They were really talking down this year about, hey, we're young and all this other stuff. But I got to tell you, they coached that team. They got them peaked up and doing some good stuff. And I'll just remind you of this, that one of their best wrestlers, Gabe Osborne, who no doubt would have made it to the finals and put some more points on the board and that kind of thing, maybe even won it, excuse me. They win that by, 20 plus points without his points. And so that's pretty impressive. Hollis Brookline was your runner up. They had 174 points. They had three champions, one runner up, two thirds, two fourths, and one fifth. They send what, two, three, four, six, eight, nine to the dance. Salhegan, third place with the champ, 4 seconds, two fourths, and a third. So that's what, 10 to MOC. Winnicott, fourth. Milford was fifth. Alvern was sixth. BG seventh. Kingswood eight. Manchester West 9. Portsmouth 10. And certainly last but not least, the very young Merrimack 11th. And so, listen, I got to tell you, overall, that's a good tournament. And, they give out a couple of awards at the D2 tournament. One of them is the Outstanding Wrestler, and that was awarded to Caden Brusso. He, come on, man, he's outstanding. It's hard to argue that. And so the Senior Cavalier will pick up another award in an illustrious career here in New Hampshire before he heads to his final meet of champions and presumably to his final New England's. And then it's off to college for him. And so Roger Williams is going to be getting an excellent New Hampshire stud next year when he checks in down there. But before that, he's got work to do. And a outstanding wrestler at D2. It's a nice way to head into the big dance. And the Division II Coach of the Year is his head coach, Brian Bumpus. And again, well-deserved. It's a big honor. In my mind, it's recognition from his peers. And, I think a lot of times, there's an argument for many outstanding wrestlers and many coaches of the year. And I don't think there's any argument that Bumpus couldn't be it. So it's just, he puts in a ton of work. You want to talk about major commitment to the sport, not just his team. I'd love to see if he clocked the hours that he put in that have nothing to do with the Hollis Brookline Cavaliers and just have something to do with the sport of wrestling and growing it and making sure that it gets better. So, Coach Bumpus, I salute you. I've always respected everything you've done in the sport and all the contributions that you have. And I look forward to, probably like 10 years before you have half a lineup of your own kids in Hollis. And so, the future's bright in Hollis, and just gotta say, man, had a great time. I want to say the referees, they did a great job there. Kyle Gaffney, Bobby Daniels, Rick Ross, and myself. I thought it was a very solid crew. Our assistants, Joe Audette, Jeremy Iverson, Lynn Angelo, and tired, late. Who was the last one? Mark Campbell? Yes. Sorry about that, Mark. Yeah, everybody very professional, wanting to do the best, and what a great presentation for the finals, D1 and D3. Please take note. I'll get to the D3 recap, but I will just say this. If anybody from Conval is listening, please reach out to the folks at Goffstown. We all get by with a little help from our friends. So it's all about making a great sport of wrestling, a good product for our fans, for our wrestlers, for our coaches. And listen, let's have a blast, man. So that's one show down. I'll be doing D1 and D3 in the next day or two. And then I will also be doing the Meet of Champions preview show for the boys and the girls. I got to see if I can round up a couple of coaches, maybe get them involved, see what's going on. It's a tight schedule, busy week. So I'm out. See you on the mats.